Hello, how you doing? Thanks for joining me again. It's a little bit different than usual this week. Hopefully you'll find it interesting. The main meat of this episode is going to be a trip to Blackpool. Not been to the Seaside this year, and I felt that was something that had to be put right. And as always, I take my cameras with me. So if you just want to skip to that, skip to that. But I thought I would bring you up to speed on what I've been up to outside of doing these videos over the last few months. Because when I made my big comeback after being away for, was it a whole month or something, I said that I was looking for new clients. I had plans for this, that and the other. So I thought I'd better update you on that just so you knew what I was up to. The search for clients has resulted in 0 more clients. So it's not looking great in terms of that side of my photographic life. Connected with that, it's what I'm going to be doing in terms of this channel. I've got a big announcement which I'll leave till after Blackpool, so that's like the teaser. You've got to watch to the end to find out the exciting bit of news. You don't have to. Things I'm going to try on the channel if I'm able to keep it going. I'm thinking about trying out some flash photography. I've not done any stuff with strobes for ages, so I might do an episode about that. I might try using some coloured filters for both black and white and colour. I've not done any night photography for ages, and I'm not talking about like landscapes in the countryside. I'm talking about going out in the city and doing city at night. If you'd be interested in that, let me know, because that's something I'd be keen to do. And yeah, I'll put a poll up when I've worked out how to do it, and if you just click which one you'd like to see and the one that gets the most votes, I will definitely do a video on, almost definitely. What else? Off to Arles, to the photo festival in Arles. The main week of it has passed, but the exhibitions are up for the whole of the summer, so I'm going over there. It's part family holiday and part opportunity to have a look at what there is to see. So if I do see anything that I think you'd be interested in, I will talk about it. Stay tuned for that in a future video, probably the one after this one or 2 after this one. Those of you, the very few of you that follow me on Instagram, will see that I've basically quit Instagram. I've been trying to put up a picture a day for almost like 2 years now, to sort of show my archive and show the work that I've done and the work that I'm doing now, and to promote this channel. But I've got about 60 followers, and one of those is my wife, so it's not really worth it in terms of promoting and showing the work. And as I've probably made it clear in a lot of the videos, I don't really think Instagram's a great way to show a lot of kinds of photography. It's fine for very bold, punchy pieces, but for anything with detail and subtlety, it kind of gets lost in those tiny frames. So I would rather not waste time doing that. So I'm going to put all my effort into this YouTube channel and stuff outside online, and try and be more in the real world than in the virtual world, because again, that's my generation. I'm Gen X, and this is not me. I always wanted to work in films, always wanted to work in television, but I didn't want to work online necessarily. But I love doing these videos for you and to share what I'm doing, so I'm definitely going to keep doing this if I can. I do a Q&A, but there's not enough people asking me questions to do it, so I'm asking myself questions. I'd just like to say as well, a real thank you to the people that have been subscribing and following me. I won't name any names, but there are people that I see comments from every week, and I really do appreciate it. And you know, I don't know much about you, but I'm just glad that you're interested, and I really hope that you're getting something out of it, because it means, I know it sounds cheesy, but it really does mean a lot to me to get those comments from you. It just gives me a little bit of a boost, which is lovely. So thank you for listening to all this, if you did. And if you just skipped to this timescape, then great. Now we have some pictures from Blackpool. Enjoy. So hello from Blackpool. We have travelled here by an incredibly busy train through rain and all sorts, but it's now a gorgeous sunny August day, and we're going to make the most of it. Apparently there's an air display on today, which I didn't know, which is maybe why it's so busy on the train. There's also a football match, so it might be a chance to get a picture of the red arrows going past. I think they go past at 2 o'clock, it's about 1 o'clock now. Get some street photos and get some pictures of the seaside, because the seaside is ace. It's always ace, especially on a really sunny day like today. I have got my XA2 with me, loaded with Lomochrome 92 film, which I've not tried before, and I've also got my digital with the usual 20mm pancake, and my little zoom as well. And Lucy, as you may well have noticed, is with me as well. And what have you got, Lucy?
I've got my XA2 with me and some Colour Plus film, which I've not tried before.
Excellent. So we will crack on and load up and get some pictures. So loaded up with the Colour 92 film, which I'd not used before, as I said, and I didn't know quite what to expect from it. You'll see later in the video how it turned out, but interesting packaging, almost looked like a little bag of coffee, which yeah, definitely adds to the appeal. So for those of you that don't know, Blackpool is one of the key seaside resorts in England, certainly in the north of England, and it's got a big history. It's famous for its tower, it's got a long seafront, it's got trams. It's very much like England's Coney Island, but I think predates Coney Island. You've got the pier, you've got the rides, you've got the seagulls, you've got the crowds. It's not New York, but it could well be. Blackpool's famous for its comedy. A lot of comedy acts started off doing their shows here, and there's a walk of fame with quotes from famous comedies and names of famous comedians on it just outside Blackpool Tower, which is also famous for hosting dance competitions in the Tower Ballroom. So here I've got a nice little picture of a dog walking past the comedy carpet, and here a man with his floppy hat, the dog, people walking by with soft drinks. It's a summer's day feel, and you'll notice that I've actually used a preset of mine which I call Ed's Warm Vintage on all these shots, because it gives that golden summer glow, that slightly retro feel that I think is appropriate to the subject. I don't normally use presets that give a particular strong vibe, but I think it's really appropriate on this set of pictures, and I think it really adds something to it. Now we were getting close to the time that the air show was going to take place, so these guys were there trying to work out flight paths and when things were going to happen. Lucy and I had sat down waiting for the air show to start on the comedy carpet, and this is Lucy with her XA2 getting a picture of, I think, me taking a picture of the tower and the old guy walking past in the background. I think it's a really nice sort of composition. So we settled down and waited for the planes to start coming across, and very soon they did, and the red arrows, as always, were absolutely spectacular. So I've just taken loads of pictures of the air show, which was really good, and now I'm going, that was all with the digital, and now I'm on the XA2 and just doing a bit of street photography in the back streets of Blackpool, and then we're going to head back to the front and maybe get Pleasure Beach, something like that. But yeah, it's been a really good day so far. So yeah, we wandered into the back streets and got a few shots on the XA2s. Now my pictures I'm not that happy with, really. It was a 400 speed film, but I think maybe it would have worked at 200 because the negatives when I got them back were a little bit thin. Now it could be to do with the processing, it could be a mistake with my camera's metering, but yeah, just a little bit lacking in detail, a bit muddy, and my compositions weren't exactly the most exciting either. This one, however, did work, and it shows that this film can actually produce some really good results if it's used correctly, whatever that means. So we were on our way back to the front here, and there were some guys watching another bit of the air show. It's kind of a good documentary shot, and this film does seem to render blues really nicely. So we're on the promenade now, and there's just too much to take photographs of, and Lucy's already almost out of film. I've gone back to the digital because there's just no way I can get half the pictures I want to get here. So yeah, going back to digital seemed to be a really good idea because I could just snap away, and I took hundreds of shots. So obviously it just shows that difference between film photography and digital photography. You have just got so much more opportunity with digital. With film, it's always, do I need to take this shot? This is an investment. With digital, it's the opposite. There's going to be a really good reason not to take it. It's not going to cost me anything. Totally different mindset. And it was quite interesting swapping between those two mindsets in the course of a day, because I usually either shoot digital or film. So we made it to the Pleasure Beach, which is the furthest we're going to go. I think we're going to head back towards the station now. It's been a lovely day, and I think there are a few more pictures to get on the way back. Right, let's crack on. So yeah, the Pleasure Beach went back to using film and got this quite nice one of the Big One roller coaster. And although the resolution isn't as good as you would get with digital, there's something nice about it. It's one of these things where it kind of works. It's got that retro feel. I think this film works really well with this picture. And again here as well, the colours and the tones work really well, and the grain of the film adds something to this. This shot as well, I really like this one. I waited quite a while to get this shot. It's the tram stop by the Pleasure Beach. So you can see the roller coaster in the background, you can see the car park in the foreground, and the word beach has been cut through the concrete shelter. You can see inside the shelter the people waiting for the tram, and the silhouettes there. I think it works really well. The only thing is that because you look at the back of it, beach is back to front, and so I actually flipped the negative, and you can see here what it would look like with the negative flipped. And yeah, I think actually that works really well. I don't think there's actually anything wrong with flipping it like that, because it's not actually changing anything. It's basically just looking at it in a mirror. So I swapped back to digital at that point, and Lucy and I started walking back towards the station along the prom, and I took some pictures of people in the sea, by the sea, on the promenade as we walked back, people going back from the air show, and yeah, just some really nice pictures. I like this one in particular with the people with their hands raised to block, and they're all trying to look up at, I think it was a Eurofighter Typhoon that was going past. And this one where there were crowds here, but obviously as things started to wind up with the air show, people moved on and there were just a few people left, so it's this kind of odd juxtaposition of just one person with their blanket out and everything else deserted around them. I did have a couple of frames left of the Lomochrome film, and I used those sparingly. This one I think worked really nicely as we were passing the amusement arcade, and this one as well of the Coral Island. There's a guy looking up there, I think probably looking at the Eurofighter again, and it's just nice. I like the way the pole is blocking part of his face, and you've got the skull and crossbones and the sign. I swapped back over to digital and I got this one, which I really love because it's motorcycles. It's a Triumph motorcycle. I used to ride a Triumph myself, and the diffusion filter that I had on the 20mm pancake gave a lovely splash of the highlights of the chrome as he went past. I have actually had to make one slight alteration to this photograph, which is one of the women in the background was wearing flesh-coloured leggings and it looked like she was wearing no trousers at all. So I've just put a little black box over that in case YouTube thinks that I'm posting nudity and blocks the video. So I would never normally digitally alter a photograph, but that was done purely for technical reasons. And now this one, again, I love the colours here. There's a kind of Jack Vetriano, Edward Hopper look to this picture with the red and the blue and the patterns and the composition, and I really like it. You can't see the sea, but I bet you could guess it's taken at the seaside. And this one taken on the way back to the station, just leaving the front, and everybody else making their way back to the railway station past the Methodist church. And there's a couple in the shadow just getting their pram ready and everything. I think that's a really nice composition. I think it works really well, and the light and shade is really good there. And the final shot that I took, it's got a kind of Hopper vibe to it, which I really like. The two orange tops, one on the left, one on the right, one in the crowded space, one in the very quiet space, showing two sides of Blackpool there. You see, there's the crowded front and then just going around the corner, and it's very lonely. And that sums it all up. A lovely, lovely day out, and some great photos, and some really nice photos from Lucy as well. And I will just pop her top 5 here now so that you can see the shots that she got with her XA2 and Colour Plus film. And there are some lovely colours in this film. I really like the blues and the reds in here, and her compositions are fantastic as always. This guy watching the fly past with his red arrows jumper on, that's a really nice spot. And the guy on the balcony of the fish and chip shop looking out again. It's spotting these little details that Lucy's so good at. The horse and the guy looking up into the sky. It's just a really, really nice composition. And of course, how can you go wrong with such a great model? But yeah, lovely, lovely set of pictures. And these are just 5 that I picked out as my favourites. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that little trip to Blackpool. I certainly did. And I think there are a couple of good photos there. It'd be really nice to go back and just keep shooting. But it was great, and I hope you enjoyed it. So thanks for sticking with me to this point in the video. I said I had a big announcement to make, or rather not a big announcement, but one of those big announcements in YouTube terms. And it's more of a sort of connected to what I was talking about before, and it's the future of the studio and whether I can actually continue to keep on this studio. As I said, I probably need to be getting a full-time job to support my lifestyle, rather than just picking up little bits of work here and there. And that means I don't know if I can justify this. Obviously, I need somewhere to do this recording from, so I might have to get a little place just to do that if I'm going to continue to do this at all. But to have a big studio, I'm not sure it's going to be feasible moving on. I've got it until October time. That's when the lease runs out, I think, on this. And obviously Lucy does her clothing from here, so she might want to keep it on anyway. But it's not ideal for what I've been doing. It will be fine for doing studio shoots, although it's a bit of a mess now because I've not been keeping it tidy. It's a little secret you might be able to tell. But for recording in, there's a lot of outside noise which makes it difficult. I've either got to come in at ridiculous times of the morning or night to record when there's nobody here, or I'm struggling to not get sound coming in, which would mean that, quite apart from being a distraction for you, I'd probably get copyright strikes for the music that's being played. Or there's actually a dog that likes to listen to Radio 4 next door to me here. So fortunately, I think the dog's gone walkies for the week, but normally it would be trying to talk to you while listening to Woman's Hour or You and Yours or something. So it's a little bit tricky and not ideal. But I think we've made it work, haven't we, for this length of time? And all being equal, I'd quite like to keep this place on. Quite apart from anything else, it's going to be a nightmare to move all the stuff to another place. But if there is somewhere cheaper local, then I might have to do that, because I can't really justify the continued expense when I'm not having portrait shoots here. I'm not using it for much except doing this YouTube series really at the moment. So anyway, that's the announcement, such as it is. It's kind of an announcement about something that might happen, but I've heard smaller announcements described as big announcements on YouTube, so I hope you don't feel like you've been had. As always, please do like, subscribe, share. Thanks again so much for your continued support. I'm going to go and finish my coffee somewhere a little bit less black. Have fun whatever you're shooting. See you again soon, I hope. Bye for now.